Yes, in our schedule, there was like 2 minutes for everybody else to join, but we have first just a short intro of our webinar. So we will have session on the workarounds and how to navigate the complexity of the privacy-driven future. And today's hosts for you will be 3 amazing women from Ukraine. I'm Lesia from AppsFlyer, Anna from Burny Games, and Tatiana from Headway. And as you probably know from marketing collaterals and emails that you received, we will talk today about how to approach the data in the era of privacy restrictions. And we have for you 2 different cases. One is more on how to leverage SSOT solution and how to combine different data streams on your side. And another angle is how UA should approach their data analysis if it's based only on probabilistic data. And first, I will start from some heavy lifting. Growth marketing was never easy, but now it's much, much harder. Marketeers are forced to navigate the landscape marked by constant changes. It's COVID, post-COVID, IS 14.5, economic downturn, different tensions in the politics, you name it. It's created an extremely messy, challenging, and complex reality. Increased complexity has led to real risk of data misinterpretation and consequently wrong insights. This can be detrimental for any business. And the question is, why has measurement become so complex and what can be done about it? So let's dive in. The main reason for increased complexity is data privacy measures. At its core, protecting user privacy is, of course, extremely important, especially with the data jungle that was created. But as marketeers, it has brought about major headaches. Scrutiny from regulators we all know about, GDPR, ATT, recent changes in EU Digital Marketing Act, which is huge for anyone who is running campaigns in EU. We see also data minimizations and restrictions, which creates lots of holes in the data and also leading to elevated risk of data misinterpretation, as we mentioned above. Lack of persistent IDs affecting targeting and retargeting, as we've known it. And last but not least, multiple data sources and streams. And we have questions, what to rely on and what's the truth. Untangling complex measurement challenges requires addressing them one node at a time. When it comes to the privacy-driven challenges, there's always ROAS attribution that comes first. We're all familiar with SKAdNetwork that has brought us a lot of loss in terms of the data signals for optimization. And we will soon face challenges with Privacy Sandbox, a solution that was created by Google for deprecation of Google Ad ID. Even though it's quite limited, we all must consider it for our marketing efforts. However, there are quite few things that ROAS attribution just doesn't solve. For example, the data is still incomplete, late, limited. There are still multiple data sources and streams, and there is still complete lack of standardization. So we need to answer major questions, which are how marketeers even begin to deal with these huge challenges. They have lack of signals, how they can effectively measure their campaigns. How can they deal with so many different measurement frameworks that keep on changing? And most importantly, how can it be actionable based on the unified and accurate measurement reality? To further untangle, we need modeling. Let's face it, modeling has been around for years, but it wasn't truly needed since the data was deterministic. But in today's reality, with the emphasis on user privacy, with its data minimizations and restrictions, Modeling is a must to fill the gaps. Furthermore, we've seen more movement on the same side, from the same perspective, from the media side as well. Top media partners are also moving towards modeling, and there are a few main solutions that were released recently. One of the biggest changes that happened in mobile ecosystem just recently, there was Meta IM campaigns release. These campaigns use probabilistic methods to measure full LTV. It's going beyond SKAN data, and it gives you better insights for marketing analysis and tracking. Not even mentioning that if it comes to measurement with SSOT, Meta has much better place now due to this change. So you will have you will expect to see better results with a major partner. Another big change, which you may leverage, is advanced SRNs. And basically, you're able to get deterministic attribution and probabilistic at the same time. So if you work with partners like Snapchat or TikTok, we encourage to use this too. And of course, let's not forget about probabilistic modeling. This allows us to receive full LTV data. There is no device ID required. All the signals for different actions on your marketing campaigns are available for you. And as you will see in one of our next presentations from Anna, in some cases, probabilistic matching is pretty much enough for making best decisions possible for your marketing activities. So when it comes to innovative solutions, they have developed like some solutions like attribution on ROAS, Sandbox, and SKAdNetwork. They've been developed to fill the gaps, but it also created another problem. There are multiple and frankly too many data sources. And on iOS, advertisers get their data from multiple data sources such as SKAdNetwork, ATT consented users data, aggregated data from probabilistic modeling. Sometimes it's incrementality-based insights, dedicated APIs for Apple Search Ads, for example, and many more. And that's the place where we use SSOT, single source of truth, which combines data from multiple attribution sources into one reality. This is where there's some pretty significant tech heavy lifting happens too. So SSOT identifies and removes duplicates of installs. You also have a feeling of missing gaps in data, geo, web to app. You have longer LTV with SSOT, null conversion modeling, clean organic, which is not available on SKAN only, remarketing, etc. And at present, it's centered on iOS. But in the future, this will be true for Privacy Sandbox as well. Gaps in the data which will be filled by these solutions will also then require SSOT because Sandbox also incomplete. It has up to 30 days of the data. There is no organic, for example, and it's also not real time. The aim for us is to build SSOT for everything in the future. As you can see here, it's for SKAdNetwork, AppsFlyer attribution, Privacy Sandbox, not to mention the ability to combine Android and iOS data. So you have one dashboard for everything. What else we would recommend to take into consideration is that bottom-up methods such as last touch attribution are widely used for ability to make fast decisions, but this might not be telling you the full story. So the top-down approach informs about performance at a strategic level. For example, is this channel actually helping sales and driving incremental revenue that would now have been achieved organically? This is something that is a key to prove your ROAS and decide on budget allocation. What I'm trying to say here is that there isn't a single measurement methodology that can provide complete insights for the purpose of evaluating your ad spend. Neither MMM or incrementality measurement will replace last touch attributions. They are available as supplemental tools to help you to understand your performance. And Headway actually will show us similar case of how they use the data and work with MMM and incrementality, and then you can explore a bit more insights in our next presentation. For everything that I described, we need to combine different data streams. So now I want to share with you the infrastructure that is required for this. And we're gonna start with super complicated scheme. I know that it's complicated. And what is this? Here's an example of one small component out of this complex machine that is in charge of attribution. This is aggregation services only for a Sandbox. And for Sandbox Mobile specifically. This whole component is created from different parts, and I know how complicated it looks. This is why you use AppsFlyer to do all the complicated work for you. So later you just work with the data from Sandbox. And now we will break down how the full measurement will work at AppsFlyer side. Don't worry, that's what I felt when I first saw this slide too. So if you need any other details, you can either pass the questions or we'll take it later. And you have nice articles in AppsFlyer website in the blog, how it works actually. So as I mentioned, this is just the aggregation service. And guess what? There is more. There's always also Sandbox Studio, where you configure what you want to measure with a Sandbox. And also you have iOS. Within iOS, you have SKAN, which also has Conversion Studio and media partner integrations. You have Apple Search Ads, which is deterministic attribution only for Apple Search Ads, and it's not part of the SKAN. And you need to integrate, get the data, run last click attribution between the sources, and take this into consideration too. Then other parts of iOS, I mentioned already, there is the data from advanced SRNs like Snap, TikTok. There is the data from consented IDFA users, probabilistic matching data, etc. And then you'll have also Android attribution, mostly based on Google referral. You'll have on top of that modeling data, which is null modeling, for example, for compensation of null values in SKAN, geomodeling, LTV approximation modeling on top of the data, and you need ad spend data input so you can measure your ROAS and get the full marketing picture. Then you have fraud protection for attribution. And as you can quickly see, how to manage this complexity, this is a real challenge. But it's not only about managing the complexity that's the issue, it's about contending with multiple ways to view your marketing. And you need to have single source of truth for entire marketing picture. Keep in mind that finance product team will have their own use, and ultimately the entire business needs to have a source of truth. Today, AppsFlyer is providing an SSOT for SKAdNetwork data and non-SKAN data, and soon will incorporate Sandbox. The point here is that marketing picture is very complicated, it's fragmented, yet you'll need to provide a single view of marketing, aggregating all the measurement methodologies and also all the signals to inform the business and make the best decisions. Good news, all this heavy lifting in terms of connecting different data streams is usually done by MMPs such as AppsFlyer. And you actually need to understand how it works, but mostly consume results of this heavy lifting and work on more important goals that you have. So we encourage you to focus on what you care about: acquiring new users, monetizing these users better, also optimizing their experience and retaining them. So do not forget about your main goals. And I hope you found this insightful to dive a bit deeper into specific of work with the data and how it's done on a real case. I'm inviting Titana from Headway to show their approach on how they work with the data and yeah, explain more on this. The floor is yours, Titana.
Thank you, Lesia. Great presentation. I'll try to follow with our Headway case and we'll be glad to answer the questions in the Q&A sessions. Okay, so my name is Tanya and I'm thrilled to be here to discuss such a complex but very interesting topic as measuring marketing performance in terms of privacy restrictions. I'll share the insights how we face these challenges at Headway and how we leverage the opportunities actually to optimize our marketing strategies and allocate the marketing budget more effectively. So let me introduce myself a little bit more. I hold a PhD in economics and have an academic background, but since 2021, I've transitioned to product IT, first at Jubo and later at Headway. And over the past 2 years, I've led the marketing infrastructure team, focusing on developing data infrastructure as well as marketing and product analytics to support business decisions and drive data-driven growth. I suppose you've heard about Headway. It's an innovative edtech company founded in 2019 in Ukraine, and it's a rapidly growing company that empowers people to learn and grow on a daily basis through fun, engaging, and easy-to-digest formats, making personal development accessible to everyone. Our product portfolio features 5 innovative apps. Headway, our flagman app, it offers book summaries for self-growth. Impulse, an app for brain training through short games. Nibble, an interactive platform that provides lessons on a wide range of topics from math to art. Admile, a coaching platform for personal and professional development. And our recently launched app, Skillstar, that provides interactive scenarios and different other types of contexts for developing soft social skills. At Headway, we leverage a diverse marketing strategy that spans multiple channels, including paid acquisition, partnerships, and affiliates, and also organic channels such as email, push marketing, referral, and community engagement channels. And additionally, we work on multiple platforms, including iOS, Android, and web. This diversification enables our rapid growth, but at the same time introduces challenges in accurately measuring marketing performance and making informative decisions about effective budget allocation. One of the biggest challenges we face, of course, is measuring attribution under IDFA limitations. But another challenge is how to measure top funnel campaigns versus bottom funnel campaigns. And actually, to acknowledge this challenge, we also analyze top funnel metrics like sessions, new users, engagement, and attention metrics. Next, what better for decision making? Is it choosing event level attribution or user level attribution? In Headway, we apply event level attribution for our daily activities and decision making, but still, we estimate user level attribution for more broader high level picture. And lastly, the attribution model choice. Actually, we need to say that we don't have that many options to choose, and we go with last touch attribution. But still, we are trying to explore different methods to understand multi-touch attribution. And to do this, we actually delve deeper into the user logs and also use AppsFlyer assisted installs report. This report is very helpful as it shows us up to 3 contributors in terms of media source or campaign that preceded the last install. And overall, to actually come up with decision what to do with the rest organics, which is left, we use ML-based models to actually distribute organics by paid channels and real organics. So to sum up, actually, and to address all these challenges, we've made a marketing measurement system at Headway that combines click-based attribution, media mix modeling, incrementality testing, and also attribution service. How does it work? Actually, I will explain a little bit deeper later. But in terms of attribution service, I just need to say that we occasionally conduct this service in the form of asking our users questions like, how did you hear about us? And this method we use to compare quantitative and qualitative data. So actually, combining different tools, we try to mitigate the risks, as each of these methods has its own pros and cons. For instance, some of these methods account only for individual users' attribution, while others track it only on the aggregate levels. Of course, ease of maintenance is also very important question in choosing these tools. And while trying to explore organics using ML-based models, we still face challenge while exploring only correlation. That's why using incrementality tests, we can uncover causality. And the importance of combining different approaches is discussed in depth in the research course on marketing measurement methodology, which I definitely highly recommend. Let's take a closer look at each element of our marketing measurement system. So, and starting from click-based attribution, let's explore our data infrastructure to measure attribution. First of all, we are using AppsFlyer and CRN last click attribution for opt-in app installs and in-app purchases. Then we use web attribution derived from client and server data. Also, we use data from app and web platforms, including Apple Store, Google Play Market, and SolidGate. We further enhance our attribution by incorporating SKAdNetwork insights, SKAN model data, and the single source of truth provided by our MMP AppsFlyer. On top of the last touch attribution model, we apply in-house modeling to distribute unattributed organics across paid channels and pure organics. For decision-making, we create BI boards where we aggregate all data sources by platforms, channels, media sources, geo, and other dimensions. Here we give the final estimated purchase values for all channels and also provide input metrics for each of them. Let me share more details about how we use the AppsFlyer single source of truth. This is a new tool that consolidates both data from SKAdNetwork and self-reporting networks, at the same time effectively avoiding duplicates. We implemented single source of truth on October 15th after integration of Meta's advanced aggregated event measurement signals. This instrument improves attribution accuracy by accounting for both users with double consent and those who opted out of sharing their IDFA. It also provides more granular insights. For instance, it delivers attribution and retargeting conversions segmented by geo and ad level, a level of detail which was previously absent in SKAN reports. So after setting up attribution correctly and integrating data from various sources, the next step is marketing or media mix modeling. We use Sarimax and marketing mix models to address unattributed organics and identify the correlation between marketing spend and business outcomes like purchases and revenue. Using organic coefficients as ARIMA model output, we allocate organics across paid channels and pure undistributed organics. Here's how we approach it. We actually choose net organics, estimate net organics as a dependent variable. We assess the difference order, autoregressive, and moving average parameters for ARIMA setup. And also we use purchases for paid channel as exogenous variables. After validating the model accuracy, we derive a constant coefficient representing the share of real organics and coefficients showing the impact of paid channel on net organics. These estimates we conduct every quarter and actually think about automating it for our further measurement system. What about marketing mix models? This instrument helps us understand the picture more broader and give us top-level analysis of what's going on with our marketing channels. So actually here, as output metric, we use purchases or revenue, and as input factors, we use impressions or proxies of impressions, like estimated audience signs for non-digital channels. We also add data on baseline factors, such as non-marketing variables affecting the outcome, like season factors, macroeconomic trends, and competition. We also track for control variables like events, for price changes, promotions, holidays, and product launches. And the benefit of the marketing mix modeling is that it estimates the incremental impact of both paid and organic marketing channel on business outcome. Of course, this is a more complex approach, and we still develop our skills and models we are using to get more sophisticated results. But still, this method allows us to evaluate the efficiency of different channels and optimize budget allocation for better results. Last but not least step in marketing measurement is incrementality testing. It evaluates the incremental impact of a certain marketing activity on a key business outcome, sales. If marketing mix model estimates correlation using controlled experiments for incremental testing, we can actually estimate causality. And in our marketing experimentation, we explore several types of hypotheses to measure incrementality. We've actually started with brand lift tests, and while combining brand and performance ads, we try to assess the full funnel activation and whether brand campaigns impact in terms of boosting marketing performance our campaigns. Of course, we are using such tests as spend adjustments and new channel investment. And recently, we've started using like regular lift tests. And for this test, we actually split our audience in two groups of statistically random individuals, one exposed to a specific marketing activity and the other not. And we then measure how much more the exposed group purchases compared to the control group. It's important to note that incrementality testing is not fully controlled experimentation. It's difficult to make sure that only certain elements are changed while others are kept constant. To address this, we collaborate with our SKAdNetwork partners to create comparable buckets using geographical regions or similar audiences, and apply statistical models methods to analyze the differences between these buckets over time. Let's recap. To support effective marketing decision-making, we first establish proper attribution and ensure signals are sent accurately. Then, choosing, for instance, last touch attribution, we still explore multi-touch attribution and analyze channel incrementality with media mix modeling. It is also important to apply different measurement methods for top funnel and bottom funnel campaigns, and we try not to forget about it and explore them more thoroughly, and also account for the impact of non-digital and brand marketing campaigns. Finally, to validate our measurement system, we incorporate incrementality testing to measure causality of marketing performance across different channels. Thank you all for your attention. I hope it was useful, and I'll be happy to answer your questions at the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. That was really a lot, but I hope this information will keep our clients and other people from the industry think about the strategy in general, MMM, incrementality, a lot of information. And for everybody, I encourage you to ask questions. We're going to have a Q&A session afterwards, and we're halfway through our webinar. We have one more presentation and then Q&A, but also we have a lot of helpers that answering your questions in chat. So feel free to ask your questions there. And now I want to invite Anna from Burny Games. She will talk about the analysis from the UA perspective and when it's based on probabilistic data. And this is something that you can take like a checklist or workaround for your daily analysis of marketing campaigns from the start till the actual like making the decision. And yeah, Anna, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Lisa, thank you for the introduction. Hi everyone. Today I would like to present my thoughts on topic how to approach data analysis for user acquisition. So let's begin. Lisa, next slide, please. Yes. My name is Anna, and I'm user acquisition manager at Burny Games. I have 3+ years of experience, and as a result, I worked with a bunch of different applications, different monetization types, and also have experience with various in-app and social ad networks. Next slide about Burny Games. And what about Burny Games? We are a Ukrainian full-cycle company founded on March 1st, 2022. Even though we're a young team, we've already made it to the top 3 in the Japan and top 15 in the United States in the puzzle genre. Our team has been growing steadily, doubling in size every year, which allows us to expand and take on more projects. On the slide, you can see some of our games, Play Doco, Colorwood SSOT, Colorwood Blocks, and Colorwood Watts. These are casual games designed to engage users with simple yet addictive mechanics. Our main monetization model relies heavily on ad revenue, ensuring accessibility while offering players a seamless and enjoyable experience. We're also working on new releases, constantly exploring ways to improve gameplay and create something enjoyable for our players. Our focus remains on delivering top-notch games that resonate with our audience and keep them coming back. In today's privacy era, many companies are tackling the complexities of SKAN and SSOT systems to maintain their analytics, as mentioned earlier by Lisa and Tatiana. Our approach is kind of different. By focusing on in-app networks that rely on probabilistic attribution, we've simplified our process significantly. These networks like Plavin, Unity, Moloka, Iron Source, features, some DSP like Liftoff and Moloka again, and etc., allow us to target users directly within applications where engagement rates and user intent is stronger for us. So this is not only enhances the efficiency of our user acquisition strategies, but also eliminates the needs for complicated data flows and overlay complex logic as you saw before. And instead, we focus on actionable insights and performance scaling, enabling us to spend more time optimizing campaigns and less time navigating analytics hurdles. This streamlined approach has proven incredibly effective for us, allowing us to adapt quickly and deliver results in the ever-evolving landscape. Testing and launching new applications is a core part of our workflow. Each launch provides us with valuable insights into what works and what doesn't, allowing us to refine our approach. We launch new applications regularly, which helps us stay agile and continuously improve our processes. This iterative approach ensures we're always learning and applying new strategies to achieve better results. And today, I walk you through the analytics process we've developed to support these launches. Testing, yes. So I've divided our game launch process into clear stages. And the first one is initial data validation and funnel evaluation. At the start of the soft launch, my main focus is validating data accuracy, and I'm trying to make sure the tracking between the network and our MMP is working perfectly. This step ensures our integration setup is correct and that all events from the product sides tracked properly. So after this first validation, I start to monitor key metrics in the marketing funnel, like CTR, install rate, installs per mile, and cost per install, to assess early campaign performance and user engagement. Finally, I benchmark these metrics against both industry standards and our internal benchmarks, drawing on our experience in puzzle games. This helps us identify areas for improvement. Once the campaign stabilizes, my first focus is ensuring everything is running smoothly. This means checking for consistent budget spending and no unexpected changes in key metrics. Stability is a clear signal that the campaign is ready for deeper analysis. On the marketing side, I shift attention from marketing funnel like CTR, install rate, installs per mile, to retention and return on ad spend using the conversion retention dashboard in AppsFlyer. It's really helpful for us, actually. Retention helps us understand how well players stay engaged, while return on ad spend shows if the campaign is generating enough revenue to justify its cost. And these metrics guide our strategy adjustments. Meanwhile, the product team looks at session length and other behavioral indicators. They evaluate how players interact with the game, identify points of disengagement, and explore adjustments to improve player retention. Finally, we again return to benchmarking because it provides a clear reference point for evaluating the game's overall performance. At this stage, we compare ROAS, retention, and other game-specific metrics to both industry benchmarks and our internal data. And again, this comparison helps us identify whether the game is ready to scale or if further adjustments are needed to improve its performance. So yeah, in general, benchmarking is very important for us. And after the campaign stabilize, we move into the mid-soft launch stage, focused on segment and performance evaluation. At this point, we are running multiple campaigns across different geos and evaluating their performance. We also analyze data from creatives and publishers to identify trends and opportunities that can improve results. For creatives in in-app networks, we break them into two components, and it's usual for in-app networks. Your creative in general consists of two components. First one is video, a second one is playable, is just end card. And this end card can be represented in three formats. So first format and the most popular and the most interactive is playable end card. Second format of end card is GIF end card, and third format is a static end card. So let's be back to the fact that we have two components. First video, second one is end card, and we are trying to analyze each of them individually and together to see their impact on user engagement and conversions. Sometimes one performs well while the other doesn't, so testing them separately gives us valuable insights. Another key focus is hypothesis testing. We've seen games underperform in one geo, but succeed in others. Testing multiple gears ensures we make data-driven decisions and don't dismiss a game too early. And one of the most important metrics for us at this stage is revenue progression coefficients, such as comparing revenue day one to revenue day zero. For example, I have my revenue day one, and this revenue day one is divided by revenue day zero. And as a result, I see some number. And based on this number, I can analyze performance of my campaign, and it is really representative for me because this metric combines ROAS and retention and help us understand revenue growth day by day and signals the game's long-term profitability. And again, this we are trying to, in terms of our internal data, we are trying to compare these revenue progression coefficients with our new games to revenue progression coefficients with our old games. So it's also from this step we can receive a lot of data. So in this stage, in general, our goal is to identify the best performance segments and creatives, refine the campaign, and prepare for scaling. Next slide. Thank you. After testing hypotheses and identifying the most representative segment, we move into the optimizations phase. On the product side, we run A/B tests to refine the game experience. For example, we, as a gaming company, we test level difficulty to keep players engaged without frustration, or introduce new mechanics like bonuses or progression system to boost retention and engagement. These adjustments help improve core game metrics and align the game with player expectations. On the marketing side, we actively test new creatives, experiment with targeting strategies, and compare optimization types. For instance, we test campaigns optimized for installs versus campaign optimized on revenue return on ad spend versus campaign optimized on cost per event optimization. And also within every network, you have a lot of different types of optimization, and you need to understand that you never know what will be successful for you. So testing is a crucial part, I guess, in every stage. And it's not only about soft launch, it's about marketing in general. We are doing it to find the best long-term strategy for this new game. Continuous experimentation ensures we make data-driven decisions and refine our approach for scaling. At this stage, fraud monitoring also becomes essential. Tools like Protect 360 helps us track suspicious activity across all networks, even low-risk ones. With user-level data from AppsFlyer, we can identify fraud, work with networks to resolve issues, and even negotiate refunds when necessary. This protects our budget and ensures traffic quality. And by combining product improvements with marketing optimization and fraud monitoring, we create campaigns that are scalable, sustainable, and designed to maximize results. So it is the end of our soft launch stage. And yes, right now we have some of our case studies that we've learned from this constant experimenting. And first of them is the fact that during our that in one case, all traffic was directed to a single creative, while marketing metrics like CTR and IPM looked great. The product metrics didn't match up. It wasn't working well in the game. After analyzing other creatives, we found options that performed better for the product funnel. By relocating traffic, the game's performance improved, and we successfully scaled it. Without testing those creatives, we might have written off the game as a failure. We also discovered how much end cards, and it's something that I've mentioned before in terms of playable end cards and GIF end cards, can impact results. Some creatives started strong with high ROAS and retention, but underperformed over time when we analyzed revenue progression coefficients. And this taught us the value of long-term analysis, not just relying on early results. And that's interesting that this case was based on our end card. Video was okay, but we had our problems with end card. So another insight is that a top-performing creative on one network may not work as well on another. This is why we keep testing and exploring new ideas. It's essential to stay flexible and experiment for better outcomes. Lastly, fraud monitoring with Protect 360 has been crucial. In one instance, we detected significant fraud on a major network using user-level data from AppsFlyer. We resolved this issue and even secured a refund, and it really helpful for us to protect our budget and maintain traffic quality. So that's all from my side. I was really happy to represent some ideas, and let's stay in touch. Burny Games will be happy to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. That was like a proper workbook for UA managers that work with different networks and leverage probabilistic modeling. So thank you all for your attention. We have, I guess, 12 minutes left for our Q&A session. Let me just stop sharing. Right. Let's go to Q&A session. Some of the questions, I guess, were answered before by our helpers. They are working on the background, and some of them will be answered now. So, Tatiana, there is a specific question to you. When it comes to deciding whether to continue spending on a channel or shift spend between channels within Mix, which results do you rely on most? Like between MMM and incrementality? Was it, let me just, oh, Tanya, you are on mute, sorry.
Sorry. Thanks. I understand the question. If we have the opportunity to make incremental testing for this, we, of course, would use the results of the incremental tests. But because for MMM model, we need at least data. If it's a new channel or something, we don't have enough historical data, so we need to wait for it. And incremental test not only gives us causality, but still it let us make decision quicker. Let me know if I answered your question.
Yeah, feel free to send message in our chat Q&A section. Okay, there's one more for Anna specifically. I think it's related to the process where you're comparing metrics to benchmarks. How do you gather benchmarks from the market?
Actually, Burny Games in general, we're big fans of AppsFlyer's tool when we're able to check CPI and other marketing related metrics. And also, sometimes it's possible to gather this information from ad networks. So it will be just a benchmark based on the market. And yes, so that's our flow. And also it's about internal benchmarking because all of our games are in similar category.
Yeah, I think a lot of people consider this important part to compare to benchmark, but not all find proper resources. Yeah, feel free to use the website. Okay, I think I have one more. I think it's for you, Tatiana. Do you see that incremental growth in perpetuity, sorry, English not my first language, is possible forever? So there is a helper from native speakers here. So incremental growth forever is possible. So if you're running campaigns, I think this is the question that can be answered by both, right? User acquisition perspective and analysis perspective. If we are running, is it going to be always? Tatiana, Anna, any thoughts on this?
Sorry, to answer if the incremental growth is possible.
Yes, like possible.
Keep
Forever.
So I think, of course, it's possible. Everything depends on the level of knowledge about your product. So, for instance, right now, when we invest already in brand companies, we understand that brand actually impacts incrementally in our purchases. That's one kind of example. Or if you take SMM activities, we also see the same here. That's why I would answer yes, it's possible.
Anya, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I guess that in general, I can completely agree with Tatiana. So that's all.
Yeah, I can add here maybe from my side. Of course, if you measure like incremental impact of your campaigns and you have like specific incremental lift, the number may differ depending on the ad network activity. But to be fair, what we aim for is to actually achieve this like forever keeping incremental value of different media channels. So we change in the strategy to keep at least the same number or at least like in a specific range. That's the aim. But yes, I agree. It's possible if you do a lot of work on this. Okay, there is another question which is related to the SSOT data. SSOT data is only available in SKAN reports in the data locker, or can this data be built into regular data locker reports, for example, installations? So I think it's a question related to AppsFlyer data. We released SSOT only data reports in data locker recently. So it's not anymore part of the SKAN reports, it's separate reporting for SSOT, which combines both. I think this should answer the question. But probably before, if you were using SKAN data, you would need to kind of calculate SSOT data on your side. Now it's possible just to pull that data and reach as it's in the dashboard in the data locker. So if you are not part of the solution, haven't activated these dashboards on your side, just go to data locker settings and then you will see SSOT reports there. Okay, Anya wants to, there is one question for you. How often do you, sorry, it keeps questions keep popping up and I'm losing them. How often do you found a new top or diamond creative? So like, how often do you have this question from Anton?
Yeah, I guess in general, there is no logic behind this process, and it's really hard to find structure because I guess that in general, it's more about luck. you know, you have your best practices in creating new creatives, but you never know what will be good for you next. So sometimes it's once per week, sometimes it's once per year. So and especially it is connected to in-app networks. So sometimes it's really easy to find new creative, and sometimes it's really hard. And with my experience of working with ad networks, one creative can work for you longer than the same creatives with social ad networks. So it will be my answer.
Right, thank you. Tatiana, I think your presentation on MMM and incremental tests has a lot of questions. There's one more for you. For brand activity, is there any sort of metrics you stick to when it comes to prove internally to your CMO, CFO, etc., that it generates tangible incremental growth? Do you have like some, North Star metrics?
First of all, I need to say that our CMO highly supports brand activities, so we don't have like the necessity to prove for our CMO that it's important. But still, our CMO asks us to prove the impact of brand activities with numbers, of course. And here, what we're doing, first of all, we are using third-party tools to track attention metrics. Then we make brand lift tests, and third, we apply the data to our marketing mix model to estimate actually the incremental effect of brand campaigns. So we cannot just, we are trying to estimate ROI also on the brand campaigns. Like, for instance, we know that users that were engaged with brand campaigns that have higher LTV on average. That's why we already see that in terms of ROI as our primary metric, we see the effect as well here.
It's good that you don't need to convince your kind of decision makers to run not performance-driven campaigns. Not every company has that approach, but I think that's definitely something to explore. I think this is going to be the last question. How often top working creative works well for you on the main UA channels? Okay, works well for all of your main UA channels. Sorry, I'm bad in reading. I think, Anna, it's something that you can answer probably.
I guess I can. And again, for me, it's without structure. Oh no, I guess I have structure when we're talking about applying in Unity and talk that maybe they're kind of similar. We have higher rate of similar creatives than within applying in Google, for example. But Google is also more similar to applying than applying to Facebook, for example. So it really depends on your networks and the kind of on the kind of your networks. So if you're talking about in-app networks, it will be somehow similar. If we're talking about DSP networks, it will be not so similar. And if we're talking about social networks, it will be, from my experience, complete opposite to in-app networks.
Thank you. So yeah, you need to take into consideration the media partner and also different kind of placements where you run these creatives. I cannot just not say about the creative product in AppsFlyer that helps to do that, because you basically connect all the partners that you have. AI analyzes the types of creatives and cards. For example, the case that Anna described would be really useful to have this tool. And then you see the data across different media channels in one place, one dashboard, which is creative optimization on AppsFlyer. I had to do that. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar. It's a pleasure to share the knowledge with you. There are some questions that are left in the channel. We will get back to you with answers. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Anna and Tatiana, to taking part in this. I hope you enjoyed the process.
Thank you all.
And
Yes, thank you very much.